The following Dungeons & Dragons Actual Play podcast is based on real events from the history of American crime. Some of this imagery might be upsetting. Listener discretion is advised.
Infinite power, infinite power, infinite power, infinite power, infinite power. Infinite power.
So, Rusty definitely wants to bring Percy down to the station. At this point.
I whisper back, I look over at him and I mouthed it. I talk to him in Draconic. Take him in.
Yeah. So that happens. I think that conversation would happen as Rusty is walking Percy out.
Yep.
Out to their carriage, and the carriage would be pulled by a centaur. Yeah, as like security, I think. This like heavily armored centaur.
Sure.
And there would be some kind of banter between him and Rusty, and like, see the guy who did it, and Rusty's like, I like, listen, you don't want to like get him, just like keep it quiet. Centaur needs a name. We'll figure that out. So you see Percy get thrown into the back of this carriage. Does Zafira do anything when she sees this happen?
She's going to kind of perk up a little bit, but just watch. She's not too sure what's going on, and she doesn't want to get involved in something where she doesn't know what's going on. So she's here for her own gain too, and her own gain's not what's going on with the carriage. So
when the rest of the crowd sees Percy taken out of there, their interest in this starts to wane a little bit. Like, okay, well, like Percy is the new shiny thing to think about. Like, the dead body is dead body. Like, whatever. Like, we've seen a million dead bodies. Like, who's this guy? Who is this person? And like, did you hear him like talking to himself? He was talking about like, are there more than one body? Like that sounds like weird. Like, who is this guy? And so they kind of like go off in their own directions, and when they do, Joey Greenhorn is like, yeah, move along, nothing to see. Like
that's all he knows how to say.
He's finally like asserting his authority. Yeah, he's like a Grand Theft Auto like cop. Like, nothing to see here. Move along.
So Centaur's name.
And
go with Dimes, and then the joke be him and Rusty is Rusty's always like, mind your own 2 cents.
And then one day. He said something, doesn't like, nobody asked you, I'm just putting my 2 cents in.
Yeah.
Yep. He gets the one up one day.
Yeah. Yep.
Be like the day the campaign ends, like, the story ends.
He has something to say.
Yeah.
I also like it because I feel like he's really, really cheap. He's like super, so he has this like this heavy armor on, but he bought it used at like some like cop wholesale sketchy place. It only had like a little bit of blood on it when he got it, but and it was probably also like the floor model. And so he's like
still a blood on it.
Yep. Oh yeah. That's how sketchy the place was.
Right? Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The equivalent of like buying it out of the back of somebody's van. That's how cheap he is. He's got all kinds of folksy wisdom he's trying to share with people. So the crowd starts to disperse. There are definitely some news people there who are now gonna like follow this carriage back to the police station, and so the crowd starts to disperse a little bit. And there's definitely now an opening for Zafira to try to get into the house.
Yeah, she would try to sneak in.
Okay, stealth check.
Haha, 9, I suck.
So she doesn't do anything to like obviously tip anybody off, but she basically is just like kind of like fast walking into the
My passive perception is 13.
Okay, so yeah, you would see her just like she's like sticking close to the buildings like down the street, and she ducks under the curtain. I imagine this house probably has like some pretty tall like bushes that she like squeezes between those. Like it's really well landscaped, so it's not like she's crawling through anything. And she's just headed towards the door. And so Solar sees this happening. She makes it to the front door.
I should be in the building.
You're in the building, okay.
So I see her creeping around on the outside out of the corner of my eye, and then she comes into the door frame, and I'm like, in which case I will make an insight check to figure out if there's more to this character than meets the eye.
Okay.
Are you a Transformer?
No, I'm sorry. There's an inside joke in one of my other campaigns. It's actually, yeah. One of the characters is playing he's playing a Warforged, and for his, he took thieves' tools, but apparently you can take a wagon. And so we kept making fun of him of, you should have just taken the wagon, become a Transformer, and he hates us for it. So
nice.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Side derailment.
You're good. This campaign is just going to be a whole bunch of us making movie references and other campaign references.
Perfect.
I rolled a 15.
I feel like this is an opportunity for like an opposed check, maybe.
Okay.
So what would be a way to like hide? Let me look at this.
She's making a deception check.
Yeah, deception.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
She didn't play off the fact that she's not whatever she is.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm just a simple baker.
Suspicious.
Natural 20.
Yes.
All right.
First crit of the campaign.
What's the language requirements of this podcast?
I've been trying not to curse, but I've slipped up a couple of times.
I'll keep it together.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I swear so much when I teach, but for whatever reason, like online Wilzak is somehow not that. I don't get it. I'm still stuck in like pre-tenure. Like everything has to be very sanitized on the internet, except for like the occasional like I'm actually really radical. Both in like a political and also Ninja Turtles kind of way. That is my school of democratic socialism.
And he's late. Pizza's free.
Yep. Yeah.
Alright, so she rolled a 20, so I have no read whatsoever.
Yeah. Nope.
I just believe a simple baker is curious of this thing.
So how would that work? So maybe you would think that she is like a fan, maybe.
I think Zafira would kind of try to play it off as, yeah, she's kind of a fan, but also he came into her bakery a few times and she talked with him. Oh yeah, like very concerned, friend of the family.
I don't think anything of it, because she rolled so high and did the whole playoff and all that. It doesn't seem suspicious to me yet, so I'll let it. Apparently that's just how she moves around, is very like roguelike. Gets into a room and I'm like, all right, so I saw her in the corner of my eye, but you're just really interested in catching up with your friend. I'm like, all right, I will use her to help me interrogate the guy that's in the chair.
Well, no, he's in the carriage now. He's getting taken down to the station. Oh no, wait, the other. Oh, my bad.
No,
Yeah.
We arrested Peter. Right?
So Percy, yeah,
Percy.
Yep.
And then the guy, the thug,
right.
guy should be sitting in the chair.
Yeah.
He's currently he's in some. I got green horn on him or something. There's a guy on him. He's not allowed to move.
Yep. Okay.
I let her look at the body. I watch her reactions. I watch how she deals with the situation, and then we'll see how she reacts to seeing the guy in the chair.
Okay, so go ahead and make a perception check.
What?
Re.
14.
Oh, you want me to make one too?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go back to my sheet so I know what mod. 7!
So, Alexander Tate is dead. He has...
Is there magic involved?
Oh my god!
Yeah, it looks probably... I mean, given where he is and the burn marks on him, there's no evidence that you would see anything around him that might have exploded in his face, so
Can I tell, like, if there's anything specific to the type of magic used? That'd probably be an Arcana check, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Natural 20! I can't make this stuff up. I'm not even kidding. What the hell? I love this dice.
Yeah, it's a 20-sided die. What's 20 sides?
Yeah.
Like, roll really poorly, roll really well, roll really poorly, roll really well. If that's not my life, I don't know what is.
So you would be able to tell that, like, the nature of the scorch marks, like the burn pattern on him. There's like some CSI stuff. Yeah, he's dead. But you're like, yeah, and they're like, oh wait, like maybe this killed him. Yeah, so you can tell that just based on like the scorch marks and the fact that there's nothing around, like nothing else is burned. He was hit point blank with something, and so typical magic isn't really that reliable. So this must have come from either somebody who was a very well trained and very experienced magic user, or somebody who had like a wand or a rod and just jabbed it like right into his chest, right? I don't think it matters what type of fire spell it would have been. I think with that Arcana check, like she would know, like, or she'd be able to like almost divine the details of what happened. So it was a wand or a rod, or maybe even something like burning hands, to be such like a point blank blast on him. So you're dealing with somebody who's probably very dangerous.
She'll just keep kind of like standing, near the body, looking it over, looking like she's trying to make herself look like she's shocked and upset and everything. She's just trying to play off like she knows him. And, it's kind of like she can't believe what she's seeing a little bit, trying to play the grieving acquaintance.
Okay. So the guy who's in the chair starts... So is he restrained at all in the chair? Or did you just, like, throw him in the chair and say, sit here?
Based on that interaction that we had, I put him in the chair, I said, sit here, and I put Greenhorn right on top of him. And he didn't react because I had more or less given him the reminder of, you don't mess with this police team. Okay.
So he speaks up and he says, "Listen, I'm Mr. Tate's agent. You need to let me out of here. I need to go back to the agency right away and get his papers in order."
Papers.
Mr. Tate is a very important man.
Mr. Tate is dead.
And he would like, there would be like a sob, like a choke. He's like, he's dead. And so
inside check.
It's very like, I just need to get his affairs in order.
Is he his lawyer or his agent?
His agent.
I rolled a 2 on my inside check.
He's, for a good cop, he's not a great cop. So yeah, as far as you can tell, this guy is like being completely genuine.
Sure. I kind of give him, like, since I have to play the middle ground between me and Rusty, I go, what paperwork is so important that needs to be filed with the blood of his body still not cold? That's more like a slap of like, what are you doing?
So he would say he would launch into like entertainment jargon.
Sure. That
is like way over Solar's head, right? So sure. He starts bringing up contracts that are set to come up. There are projects that he is responsible for that are supposed to be starting soon, and if he fails to appear for these projects, then there is a significant fiduciary penalty to that, and I don't want the estate to take any hit. And he starts like rattling off, like as he's like rattling off people that Bonaventure or that Tate has deals with. Like I think a Bonaventure name would come up there, like a cousin somewhere. What's like a good Italian name for this guy to have? I've already used that one. Antonio Bonaventure would be like one of the cousins who is involved in like some entertainment stuff. One of the many cousins who's involved in some entertainment stuff, and so he's got deal with him that is supposed to go down soon, and we have to like cancel that. And there's just lots of business that needs to be addressed. You would probably also wonder if this guy is like panicking because like the money train has officially ended.
I start asking like what his job role is. When was the last time we saw the murdered victim? What's their agenda? Like I ask for an agenda because if you're his agent and his bookie and his paperwork manager, I ask for the typical like data collection stuff.
Yeah, so he would say that they're in contact every day. They see each other every day. It's mid-morning now, so it means such that there is morning in this place with no daylight. They see each other every day, sometimes several times a day. Tate was preparing a radio adaptation of one of his hit plays that had been really successful on the theater. They're going to try to serialize it for this new radio thing that's going on. There was lots of money invested in this. They had to consider Tate was supposed to be going to a casting call that day, and there had been lots of rumors going around. And he would almost like look at you like almost like indignant, no, not indignant, but like kind of surprised that you don't know about this like adaptation of this play. Solar's not like a pop culture guy, right? Solar likes his stuff. Like he's still like listening to the dramas from when he was like 20 years ago, right? So he's not up on any like pop culture types of stuff. But there was a casting call. There have been all kinds of rumors about who's going to be on this show. It's a real career maker for some people.
I then ask the typical like enemies question, death threats, situations of suspicious activities, and I'm also checking to see how at this point I'm going to inset again on these answers if he's trying to cover up anything or what. Yeah.
When you ask him if he had any enemies, he kind of laughs, and he was like, "We do entertainment and backfire. Like, honey, we've reinforced that we've got enemies." Of course, he had enemies.
Has anybody made a move? Have there been threats that were legitimate?
He says
he just tried to pay off a cop. Who else even been paying off? And I look over at what's Rye's character?
It's Ree and Zafira.
Zafira? I look over at Zafira to see if she's paying attention to anything.
I am, but I'm trying to look like I'm not.
Yeah, Zafira is looking really conspicuous. So while this interrogation is going on, like, what is she doing exactly?
After a while, she realizes she can't keep looking like she's grieving.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that she'd go ahead and she'd kind of stand up and step off to the side. Kind of like she doesn't... What would normally... For her, personally, she wouldn't care to just walk out. But one, she also wants to try to hear what's going on, and she feels like a quote-unquote normal person would probably wait instead of just vanishing on the police officer.
Okay. So let's test out that 20 that you've been rolling. So make a perception check.
Okay.
Wait, are you piecing out on the... Are you Batmaning me?
9.
Okay.
Nope.
You're failing me.
This is the challenge of running mystery campaigns, I found. Is that you're kind of relying on the rolls to work eventually.
Maybe I need to put this in the dice area of shame.
Yeah.
Get a new one, I have plenty.
Dice jail.
Big one.
So yeah, you look into the study as you're kind of like lingering around, and you looking at his desk, you see. So in my mind, Zafira she's very like intellectual just because of like the nature of what she's trying to do with her mom. She's very inquisitive, I think. I mean, you can correct me if that's not how you want to play her.
Is.
So I think like maybe just out of her own curiosity, she's like looking at some of the papers that are on top of the desk,
Yeah, she wouldn't go to shuffle through them, but she would probably just do a cursory.
Yeah, kind of voyeuristically, right? Like what is this guy working on, right?
Yeah. Who actually is this guy? I don't think she would actually know who he is.
Yeah.
Completely. Some entertainment dude, but I don't know any more than that.
Yeah, so there would be... I wonder what the backfire equivalent of, variety would be. There's some, entertainment rag on the desk that's talking about people who are angling. So it would be an article about this show that's coming up, right? And listing people who might be starring in it, and he would have circled a few names. So that's right. That's right on top. So as obvious as I can put a clue out for people.
What are the names? And do I know them? I wouldn't know them because it's Zafira, but
yeah. Mary. I need an alliteration for this. Mary Margaret O'Malley is one. And so that name is circled, and in the margin, the last name McKinley is written, and there's a big X through it. Nora Humiston. What else is a classic name? Rachel. I'm trying to my mind keeps wanting to go to real people. Trying to come up with fake celebrities is a bigger challenge than I thought. Okay, so I'll throw in a real life one here too. Rachel Honeychurch, and we should throw a couple of. Oh, I know, Marissa Bonaventure would be the fourth one. Okay, and so they're circled. They're part of a longer list of people who are rumored for the lead star. Or since this is supposed to be old Hollywood, they would probably use the term starlet of this show. As far as whether or not Zafira knows any of them, I think that's up to you. If you want to.
I think she probably would have heard a name or two.
Definitely Bonaventure. She would recognize that name would jump off the page for sure. And okay, so that's there, and she would know that the name McKinley is kind of has a bad reputation in the city, but she's not entirely sure why. Right? It would be kind of like who's somebody that we today that we know is kind of strange, but others wouldn't. So Madonna is weird, right, in real life. But if I were to go into a class and my Social 101 class in the fall with all the 17 and 18-year-old freshmen and be so you guys know Madonna is weird, they probably wouldn't have no idea, right? So similarly, Zafira would know that the name McKinley has a strange or an undesirable reputation to it, but not entirely clear on the details. So we have this investigation going on in the house, and we have poor Percy, who is locked in this carriage with Dimes and Russ hanging out over there, and so Russ kind of yells back up to the house, and he's yo, Solar, what are we doing?
I like that they were keeping that accent for him.
Yeah, as poorly as we can do generic New York Irish accents.
Yep. It's only because I'm back in this area doing that. All right, now. Bad jokes. Okay. What are we doing? And I yell back, Andrew Connick, get in here.
So he comes back into the house.
And he sees me at the interrogation, and then I don't know, is he going to see...
Yeah, I think Zafira...
Zafira?
Yeah, Zafira.
I'm horrible with names, so I'm going to keep saying it to memorize it.
I was just going to say, a running theme of the show is that Tom is bad with names. It's just part of his charm.
I'm so used to, like, when people can't remember or say my name, I just tell them it rhymes with cannon, but I can't do that with Zafira, so...
Nope. My other campaign, we don't even give things names. We just go handshake guard.
Yep. Arm wrestle guard.
Arm wrestle guard.
I mean, they are names in a roundabout way.
Descriptive.
It took me more than one play session to get my own character's name right. This is the problem.
That's true. That's true. And that's fine. That's okay. This is why we are amateurs.
Yep. Oh, we're not, the one day we become, we're just practicing to become professional. Right now, we're just taking it to make it.
Yep, for sure. So yeah, Rusty would see Zafira kind of like skulking about.
I whispered to him. I'm more worried. I whispered to him in Draconic. I'm more worried about shady guy over here.
Okay.
Because I rolled a 13 on my insight check when he's giving me the list of names and the enemy situation and threats and stuff.
So definitely, like, when he mentions Antonio Bonaventure, like that jumps off to you because the Bonaventures are corrupt, and you know that you have to kind of walk on thin ice when you're dealing with them, because no doubt at some point up the chain from you, somebody is in their pocket. Or wait, yeah, somebody's in their pocket. Like they have bought off somebody above you, right? So if this is a Bonaventure job, you may as well just give up. And if you are suspicious of Rusty at all, like if anybody has bought him off, it's them, right? Yeah. So like you have like alarm bells kind of going off a little bit. As far as the other enemies go, and like part of the conversation, I think that there would be some back and forth about like asking this guy who some of these people are. He would say like they're competing producers. They are people from other studios. There are people from... He would definitely throw out people from the backfire equivalent of the Screen Actors Guild. Like whatever the production guild is to, like the technical crew association. They haven't been happy with him because he has not been friendly. He's not been friendly towards labor. He's been trying to hire scab labor to work on his shows. He has been trying to and he would present this to Solar as like it's his show. He can do what he wants.
Yep.
And like aren't unions like a pain kind of thing. To a cop who's been like a dues paying member of probably at least 2 different law enforcement or like police officer benevolence associations or something like that, fraternal order of police types of groups. So he's been trying to circumvent that type of stuff, and so you know how those people are. They get mad at anything,
right? And the alarm bells are going off. This is all suspicious. I'm all
yeah.
I asked him what you were trying to grab in the house. Well, why did you run past guards and not listen to anybody? What were you trying to get your hands on in here? You're going to tell us now? We're going to take you downtown and just book you.
Make another insight check.
16.
He is sweating profusely now.
Sure.
And he says that he just wanted to see if anything had been stolen. And you can tell that we have determined that is a lie.
Okay. So I kneel down next to him and I lean into his ear and go, "What were you trying to steal?" And then at this point, I proceed to say that with a little malice. Like I've been up to now, I've been like good guy cop.
Yeah.
This is the shift in my face.
So let me see if he can deceive. He cannot deceive. He is like, I'm a well-respected agent in this town, sir.
Rusty growls, like Dragonborn Deep Throttle, like I will rip your face off growl.
He's terrified, and considering that, so he says, okay, well, I don't want this to get out, but there had been letters from a certain actress who had been trying to convince Mr. Tate to cast her in his show, and I didn't want, you know how the papers are, they publish all the sordid gossip in this town. I didn't want that to happen to Mr. Tate. I didn't want his name sullied with any kind of rumor and innuendo. And so he reaches into his coat pocket and he produces a letter that is basically like it's a love letter, but it's really kind of cheesy, right? It's corny in a way, but it's signed Mary Margaret O'Malley, and she would like sign her name with like hearts around it.
I feel like I have to do that now in my notes.
Yep. Yeah.
I get my red pen.
Yeah.
I stand up. I take the letter. I pocket it because it's now evidence.
Mm-hmm.
I look at Rusty and I say, "Watch him," and I walk into the study and see what's laying out.
Okay. So one more perception check, and I'll give you advantage on it because now you know that there's something up.
20. Not natural. It was 19 plus 1.
Okay.
So are you pulling a me now? Or are you taking all of my good roll mojo?
It's because you're in the room. You're helping me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an assist. Yep. That aura.
I got you.
And the name of the bakery, by the way, has to be like Death by Chocolate. Right? Like it was right in front of us the whole time. Like it was always there.
Oh my god, that's perfect. Yeah.
Death by Cupcake.
I'm gonna have that, and I'm gonna tell my other DM. Like, so her famous bakery. This is the name.
Yep.
This name.
And it's written in like Gothic font.
No, what I want to do next, I want to go to my person that does all my D&D like character drawings, and I want them to make me like a cyberpunk Gothic like police officer tiefling. I want to see how that pulls off. I want that trench coat.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure. He has the trench coat.
Kind of look like Valentine from
Cowboy Bebop?
No, Fallout.
Okay.
Fallout 4. He has his actual. I can't remember his name. Oh my god. Why, Brian? Why are you doing this to me? That's gonna bother me now.
It's contagious. But there is like some Cowboy Bebop vibes to this. So on that 20, you are able to find what the agent was not able to find. So you're like going through the papers and you find the entertainment thing that Zafira had with the circled names, and so I think Solar would take that. And as you're like rooting around on the desk, you open one of the drawers, and you reach in and you're kind of feeling around, and your finger touches a button, and you push the button, and you hear a click.
A bomb goes off. That's it.
Well, yeah. Welcome to the worst place in the world, 2019.
The opportunity was there. That's so good. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Come back tomorrow night for a brand new story.
but that is where we're gonna end. Yeah, that is a cliffhanger. So you push the button, there's a click, and you, out of the corner of your eye, you see one of the bookcases kind of shift open, and that's where we stop we're probably several episodes in at this point, having played for 2 hours. We were at least 2 in. So that's where we are officially stopping this first run through with this.
Awesome.
All right.
So I'm gonna record real quick the usual show ending pitch. So thank you all for listening to the new version of Strength Check Season 2. You can follow all of our people on the Red Hot Twitter machine. We will post everybody's ats in the show notes. You can contact the show at any time at Strength Check on Twitter or at strengthcheckpodcast@gmail.com. The shows are produced, as always, by the incomparable Mark Warren, who looked at this around 1 hour and 5 minutes and thought, this is tight.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Inside joke. I'm not going to explain it. Have a good one, everybody. See ya. Bye.
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 Hi again, everybody. This is Dr. Andy Wilczak. I wanted to say thanks again for taking time to listen to the show. We really appreciate it. The reason why I wanted to make Strength Check into an actual play D&D podcast, when there are so many other actual play shows out there that are probably way better than anything that I could do, is I want to draw your attention to a project that I'm a part of here in northeastern Pennsylvania. We're calling it Play for Progress, and the idea is to use D&D and eventually, hopefully, probably other tabletop games to help middle school and high school kids who are struggling with mental health problems or addiction issues, or who feel alienated or isolated in some way. This part of Pennsylvania has been hit really, really hard by the opioid crisis. This part of Pennsylvania has a very high alcoholism rate. And this part of Pennsylvania is diversifying very quickly, and there are those who have capitalized on that to try to create more conflict between people. So we have a lot of kids here who are alone and who are suffering, and suffering mightily. So what we're doing, and the point of this message now, is to just let you know that we are raising money to make Play for Progress a sustainable force for good in the northeastern Pennsylvania area. If you have even $5 to spare for us, you can go to GoFundMe.com/playforprogress with hyphens between the words, so play-for-progress. And anything that you can give us will go a long way towards making us sustainable. Thank you.